Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Elle, and if you read the title, then you'll know that this isn't a cover video. I'm going to talk about my experience with the Neverenders Experience and meeting Frank Iero. So, this was incredible. This was my absolute dream come true because Frank is my idol, he's my hero. The reason I started playing guitar, like I've talked about in some previous videos, but this was just so incredible to meet him and talk to him like a normal person, like as if he was just some random guy I met on the street, which, I mean, obviously he isn't, but it was so awesome. We were supposed to get there 70 minutes before doors opened, and a guy from the merch table came and got us, and then took us into the venue. And previously, for the Leg 1 tour, when they did the Neverender Experience, they went into the bus and they did it there, and there were only 10 people. But this time, for like East Coast at least, it's 15 tickets per show, and we met up in the venue. And then Frank came out, and so did the rest of the band. Tucker, Evan, Matt, and Kaylee. They're all so sweet. They came out, they introduced themselves to us. Frank shook our hands and was like, "Hi, my name's Frank Iero," and we're like, "Yeah, we know who you are, Frank. We're here for you." I learned Frank isn't a hugger. My friend told me that. I made a friend there. Her name was Sky. We became friends while waiting in line. But she told me that Frank isn't a hugger, which I'm glad to know. So if that interests any of you guys, probably not. But so I talked to him, I shook his hand, and then they went on stage and they played 3 songs for us. 2 off their new album Barriers, which dropped today, at least the day that I'm recording it, May 31st. And then he came down and played 1 more song on his acoustic guitar, which was a different version of a song that he's already previously released, which was, it was so cool. And then after that, the band came down, we stood in a line, and we got our set lists, and Frank handed them out, and he went down the line and he signed it, asked for our names, wrote my name, L, at the top, and wrote "Keep the Faith, XO Frank," his signature, which was so cool. But before I gave him this, I was like, "Hey, do you think it's possible if you could maybe sign my guitar strap, because I brought it with?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course, let me see it." So I didn't bring my guitar, that would be, no, I brought my guitar strap, and Frank signed it. He drew his logo, and he signed it XO Frank. He was like, "Do you want it on the inside or the outside?" I'm like, outside, obviously, so people can see it. And he figured out which way I hold my guitar, if I was righty or lefty. And he signed it, and I thought that was so incredible. And after he signed it, I was talking to him about Stage 4 Fear of Trying and how it was the first song I ever learned how to play on my guitar. He's like, "Oh really, that's so cool." I was like, "Yeah, I love messing with the distortions on it," and him and I just started talking about that, and it was just so incredible being able to tell him how he's inspired me throughout my music career, and just being able to share with him the reason I love playing guitar is because of him. So then he gave the set list down the line to everyone, and everyone signed it. Kaylee, Matt, Evan, and Tucker. Tucker was the last to sign it, and he handed it back to me, and he took a guess on how to pronounce it, and he's like, "Tell me if I pronounce this wrong, I'm trying my best." L, because some people think it's Ellie, but he handed me back, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's L," and he's like, "Awesome." And so we started just Tucker and I, we had a conversation about how people misspell our names, which I don't understand how you can misspell Tucker, but someone at a cafe in Sao Paulo, he said, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but he said that a barista on his coffee cup spelled it Taker, and I told him how people spell my name with just the letter L sometimes. And then today he posted about the record Barriers, and I commented on it, just being funny, be like, "Awesome job, Taker," and then in parentheses I was like, "Joke from when we met," and he liked the comment. I screamed. That was the second greatest thing that's ever happened to me, aside from meeting them, of course, but I thought that was so cool that he liked my comment and that he remembered our conversation from last night. And then the guys and Kaylee stood on one side of the venue, and down the line we got our pictures taken with them. It was my turn. My friend Sky let me use her phone for pictures because her camera's better than mine, which I'm jealous of. obviously, because my video quality is horrible. So then I went and I got a picture with them. Frank wrapped his arm around me. I wrapped my arm around him and Evan's like, hey, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing great. I may look like I'm panicking, because I am, but I'm doing great. And it was so much fun. And then in one of my pictures I took with Frank, his eyes are closed, and I made fun of him for it. Later in the show, he got me back by making fun of me. Getting into the opening act, we had Reggie in the full effect, but it wasn't the full effect, it was just Reggie, which was awesome. Reggie was incredible. He was the keyboard player in My Chemical Romance, I learned, and he told us stories of the Chicken song with Mikey Way, and if any of you guys know what I'm talking about, props to you. It is so hilarious. It's a song that they were working on in the studio when the president of Warner Bros. Came in and was like, let me hear what you guys got. They didn't have anything but the Chicken song. So Mikey's just sitting there giggling. He's like, play it for him. So then Reggie played the Chicken song, and the president of this giant corporation is just sitting there listening to the Chicken song. Not like the Chicken Dance song. A song that just says chicken over and over and again for like a minute straight to this sick beat. He played it for us. It was incredible. But on the stage, he was, like, playing one of his sadder songs, and he's like, now I'm gonna sing you a song about divorce. And I just yell out to him, like, are you trying to make us cry even more? And he's like, what'd you say? And he's like, divorce isn't sad. You wouldn't know. You're too young to know. And then he started ranting me about divorce. I'm like, okay, that just happened. It was great. And then Reggie finished up his set. Frank came out. The band came out. Played the songs, which was incredible. And then I think it was during World Destroyer, he delayed going into the chorus, and I counted down, or I counted 1, 2, 3, 4 out loud, waiting for him to go back into the chorus, but he didn't. And so he just sat there, looked at me as I counted down, and when they didn't go back in, he started laughing. So he was just standing up there on stage laughing at me for messing up, so I guess that's how he got back at me for making fun of him. So I was a little butthurt at the time, but it was so funny looking back at it. And then the end of the set came. Sad times. They threw their stuff out into the crowd, and I got half of Tucker's drumstick. When he breaks it in half and throws it into the crowd, you're supposed to give the other half to a friend next to you. Sky caught the full drumstick, broke it in half, and gave me this half of it, which I was so thankful for. He signed it for me after the show too. I went up to him and I was like, hey, do you think, well, technically I went up to Evan signed my lanyard. I was like, hey Evan, do you think you could maybe get Tucker to sign this for me? And so I gave him my Sharpie and Tucker signed it, which was awesome. And then after Evan signed my lanyard and I got my drumstick back, it was time to head home. And all throughout the car ride home, the whole hour car ride, I couldn't stop thinking about that night. It was so much fun. It was a dream come true to meet my idol, and it was even cooler that I got to meet the rest of the band alongside of him. It was so cool how easy it was for me to talk to Tucker about just people being stupid and spelling our names wrong, and it was so, like, refreshing, like, just to see that they're just normal people. Like, they're not these superhumans with these superpowers of music. They're just normal people like you and me, and it was just so incredible. I know I keep saying that, I don't know how else to describe it. So then, with all of it, we got a signed set list, we got our passes and shirts, the Neverender Experience shirts, which is dope, by the way. I love it. And last night I took a picture with my shirt on, my lanyard, and my guitar that had the sign strap, and I'm just thinking, hey, can I play my guitar with a drumstick for this picture? I decided against it because that would have looked really, really dumb. Yeah, that's pretty much my spill on the Neverenders Experience. It was definitely worth every dollar I spent. The tickets were about, I think I paid either $16 or $18 for the ticket itself, which was extremely cheap. And since I got early access, since I was a part of the Neverender Experience, I was pushed up right in front of the barricade, directly in front of Frank, which was so much fun, except for the fact that I got trampled by 17 crowd surfers, which was an experience. But all in all, it was worth that $100 for the ticket for the Neverender Experience. It was awesome. So if you're going to see Frank Iero, and if there's still any Neverenders Experience passes, buy it. It was so worth it. We didn't eat ramen like Leg 1 did, and we didn't take a group picture like Leg 1 did, but we did get the mini set that they didn't, so I was grateful for that. So that's all I really have to say about the Neverenders Experience. Thank you for listening to my rant on it. I hope maybe if you're going, this gave you some insight on it. If you are going, have fun. It was awesome. It was incredible. I hope you have a great time. So I'm gonna sign out. I'm going to end this video here on a good note before I start rambling for another 15 minutes. I will see you guys in the next video.